Hello, my friend. Welcome to your sleep story. My name is Stephen Dalton. I'm an Irish storyteller, and it's my great privilege to be the voice that you listen to as you go to sleep tonight. Tonight's sleep story was inspired by one of my favorite Christmas songs, Driving Home for Christmas. And so, I wrote this story, imagining a night in the life of a man called Tom on Christmas Eve, as he sits in his car, in traffic, thinking of getting home to his family. It's a cozy, heartwarming story, and I really hope you like it. One small thing, if you'd like to support my work, you can do so on Patreon. The link is below this video. Okay, let's do the relaxation session now, which will take a few minutes before tonight's sleep story. I'm going to count down from 10 to 1, and as I do, allow yourself to let go more and more. 10. Feel the support of the bed beneath you, or the floor, or whatever you lie upon tonight. But beneath all of that, feel the earth that is always supporting you, always there for you. Our home. And as you become aware of that constant support, see if it allows you to let go a little bit more now, to ease into this moment a little bit more now. 9. You are safe. You are okay. And in this feeling of safety, in this place of comfort, allow my voice to be an anchor of safety tonight. Know that my voice will only ever take you to safe places, to safe destinations, to a safe refuge of deep sleep. 8. Feel into your body now. Just notice anything. That's all you need to do. Maybe it's a tingling. Maybe it's a slight pain. Whatever it is, just notice. Maybe it's in your feet. Maybe in your legs. Maybe your belly. Your chest. Or your face. And as you notice Whatever you notice, see if you're holding anywhere. And if you are, just let go a little bit more now. 7. The day is done. Whatever has been, has been. Whatever will be, will be. But right now, in this moment, you don't need to think about the past or the future. Allow yourself the luxury of embracing this very moment. And of course, thoughts will arrive. And as they do, don't fight them. Know that they are a part of being a human being. Just see them for what they are. Thoughts. And watch them go like leaves on a moonlit river, or clouds passing in a starlit sky. Six. This is your time. This is your moment. Nobody else's. We are best when we give ourselves time, when we allow peace to be a part of our experience of life. So allow yourself to let go, to be kind to yourself, to know that you deserve this moment and this opportunity of rest. 5. Peace lives within you. It's just waiting to be found. See if you can find it tonight. And if you do, where does it live? In your heart? In your head? Have a look for it and notice if you can sense it. 4. Perhaps allow a little gratitude now. Gratitude for the simple things. The shelter you have tonight. The peace of this moment. The opportunity of rest. 3. Begin to engage with your imagination now. Begin to see Tom, the man sitting in his car as the rain falls from the sky outside. He's cozy and warm, and he's on his way home to be with his family at Christmas. Allow yourself to become immersed in this story, in this heartwarming tale. 2. Feel into your body one more time now. And just let go of any residual tension or anything you're holding on to. Your body has worked hard for you today. It deserves rest. 1. Completely letting go now, as I tell you tonight's sleep story. The rain started as a soft drizzle, barely audible on the windshield of Tom's aging sedan. But by the time he'd merged onto the motorway, it had turned into a steady downpour, the kind that blurred headlights into long streaks of white and red. Tom tapped his fingers on the steering wheel, his other hand resting near the heater vents, where warm air spilled out to fight the December chill. Traffic was crawling, rows of brake lights stretching endlessly ahead, their glow muted by the rain. He glanced at the dashboard clock. 6:47 p.m. Later than he'd planned. But he'd still get home, sooner or later. His thoughts wandered, as they always did on these long drives. He pictured the Christmas tree in the living room, decorated just last weekend with his kids. Sarah, his wife, had insisted on letting them choose the ornaments this year. So it was a colorful chaos of mismatched baubles, tinsel, and candy canes hung in odd clusters. He could almost hear her laughing as she tried to fix it while pretending not to. And the kids, Emily and Ben, probably bouncing off the walls right now, counting down the minutes until Christmas morning. Tom smiled to himself, imagining the scene. Emily perched on the arm of the couch, excitedly rattling off guesses about her presents, and Ben insisting he already knew, despite always being wrong. The thought of their faces tomorrow morning gave him a warm feeling, even as the rain drummed harder against the car. The presents were hidden in the boot. Sarah's necklace, Ben's Lego set, Emily's book about animals, He'd wrapped them in a rush before work, careful not to smudge the tape with coffee-stained hands. But now, here he was, stuck in the endless crawl of holiday traffic, rain slicking the world into a blurry mess. He sighed, adjusting his grip on the wheel. Home wasn't far, just a little longer. Tom reached for the dial and turned on the radio, more out of habit than curiosity. Static crackled for a moment before settling in to a warm, familiar voice. It was a man reading a poem. 'Twas the night before Christmas, the cadence unmistakable. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The words filled the car, wrapping around him like an old, well-worn blanket. Tom's fingers eased on the wheel as he listened, letting the rhythm of the poem sync with the patter of rain on the roof. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. A smile tugged at the corners of his mouth. This poem, it took him back to being a boy in his parents' living room, sprawled out on the shaggy carpet with his siblings, listening to their dad read it aloud by the glow of the fireplace. He could almost smell the pine needles from the tree, and the faint, sugary hint of his mum's mince pies cooling in the kitchen. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. The voice on the radio carried on, but Tom wasn't listening anymore. His mind was somewhere else, in a patchwork of memories stitched together with tinsel and fairy lights. His father's voice, steady and warm, had brought the poem to life every year, even when they'd all grown too old to believe in sugar plums. He remembered the excitement of those nights, the whispers under the covers with his brother, trying to guess what Santa might bring, and the squeak of the stairs as stockings full of presents would arrive in their room. The magic had been so real back then. so tangible. And now, he thought, it was his turn to pass that feeling on to Emily and Ben. He wondered if they'd carry these moments with them, like he had. If one day, years from now, they'd be stuck in traffic on a rainy Christmas Eve and find themselves transported back to their childhoods by the sound of this very same poem. Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night. The poem ended, and the car fell silent for a moment. Tom reached out to turn the volume down, his chest feeling full, not with frustration from the traffic, but with something softer, quieter. The line of traffic pulled forward a few car lengths, and Tom eased his foot off the brake. The rain continued to fall outside his window, blurring the world into streaks of red and white light. He glanced at the car beside him, a hatchback with a young woman in the driver's seat. Her face was illuminated by the soft glow of her phone as she tapped out a message, her expression a mix of focus and fatigue. Tom wondered where she might be heading. Was she rushing home to see her family, like he was? Or maybe she had a Christmas Eve shift ahead of her, waiting tables, working in a hospital, or tending to something that couldn't pause for the holiday. He looked to the other side, where an older man sat alone in a small van, drumming his fingers on the wheel in time with a tune only he could hear. His dashboard was cluttered with takeaway coffee cups and a crumpled Santa hat, suggesting a long day on the road. Was he a grandfather, on his way to surprise his grandchildren? Tom's gaze moved ahead, where the brake lights of the car in front glowed faintly through the mist. Everyone on this road, he realized, was part of their own story, carrying their own hopes and worries as they journeyed toward wherever they called home. Instead of the usual frustration at the delay, Tom felt a quiet sense of connection. He thought about the families waiting for these drivers, the hugs and laughter that would greet them, as they walked through their doors. For some, maybe there wouldn't be a family waiting. Perhaps just a cup of tea and a good book. But even that, Tom thought, had its own kind of warmth. The rain fell gently against the roof of his car, and he smiled. The traffic didn't matter tonight. Not really. He could wait. They could all wait. After all, wasn't that what Christmas was about? The act of coming together, each of them moving through the rain and the night toward something meaningful. Tom turned the radio dial up again, catching the soft chatter of a presenter mid-sentence. The tone was gentle and reflective, the kind of voice meant for quiet December evenings. And as we gather in our homes this Christmas, it's worth remembering that this is, above all, a season of giving. Not the kind wrapped in paper and bows, though those gifts have their place, but the kind that comes from the heart. The giving of time, of kindness, of thoughtfulness for those who might need it most. For some, Christmas is a day filled with warmth and laughter, the kind of joy we treasure in memory for years to come. But for others, it can be a lonely time, a reminder of what's missing. And that's where the spirit of the season comes in. A small act of kindness, a moment of connection, can make all the difference. It's something we see every year in the quiet gestures. A stranger paying for someone's meal, a neighbor shoveling another's driveway, volunteers serving meals at shelters. These aren't grand gestures, but they carry a profound message. You are not alone. Perhaps that's the true meaning of Christmas. Not just in the stories we tell, or the traditions we keep, but in the way we come together, even for a moment, to make the world a little brighter for someone else. It's a time to remember that giving is its own kind of gift. The presenter paused for a beat, letting the words settle. Then, with a touch of warmth, he continued. So, as you go about your Christmas Eve, whether you're rushing to finish last-minute errands, stuck in traffic, or already cozy at home, take a moment to think of someone who might need a little extra light this season. A kind word, a helping hand, or even just a thought. It's often the simplest things that mean the most. Tom let the words from the radio linger in his mind as he turned the volume back down. The voice had stirred something in him, a gentle nudge to reflect not only on the season, but on what he had to be grateful for. His thoughts drifted again, this time to tomorrow and to the day that awaited him. He pictured the morning, beginning with the soft shuffle of Emily's and Ben's feet in the hallway, followed by whispers that would crescendo into squeals of excitement. They'd burst into the bedroom, demanding he and Sarah get up now because Santa came. He could almost see Emily's bright eyes as she held up her favorite present, and Ben's triumphant grin as he tore into his carefully wrapped gift. There'd be a big breakfast, pancakes with maple syrup and scrambled eggs that would likely go half uneaten in the excitement. The house would be a blur of activity, wrapping paper strewn across the floor, Sarah balancing mugs of coffee while trying to wrangle the kids into taking a picture by the tree. Later, they'd all head to his mum's house, where the smell of roast turkey would greet them at the door. His brothers would already be there, their voices rising over one another as they exchanged jokes and stories from the year. He imagined his mum pulling him aside to ask if he thought there was enough gravy, even though there always was. It would be loud, chaotic even, and utterly perfect. The kind of day that would leave him exhausted but grateful as he tucked Emily and Ben into bed, their little hands still clutching their favorite new toys. The honk of a horn pulled Tom back to the present. The line of traffic had started to move. He eased his foot onto the accelerator, the rhythm of the car smoothing out as they picked up a little speed. The rain had softened a little now. Ahead, the brake lights were fewer, the road clearer. Tom could see the sign for his exit just ahead. He let out a long breath, feeling the tension in his shoulders finally ease. He was going to make it. He was going to be home in time for Christmas.